All right, it's loud. We are going to continue with media availabilities today with driver of the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, Kyle Larson. If you have a question for Kyle, please raise your hand and we will get a wireless microphone over to you. We'll go up here to Zach.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Kyle, how do you expect the car to react here at the road courses? I know Tyler Reddick I spoke with earlier this week. He said that you can't bring what you brought last year and expect it to still do the same thing. Are you anticipating the car handling any differently with the package this year than it did a year ago?
I have no idea. So, yeah, I don't really know how to answer that other than, I just assume with another year that the team has gotten, smarter and better about setups, that our car is going to be driving better. Just like it did from 22 to 23, it drove better, even though we had less downforce, I guess, last year. So now that we have more downforce, I would hope that the braking zones would be a little bit, more comfortable. I remember last year being really uncomfortable in brake zones. A lot of us were. But then, through the corners, my car handled better. So now I'm hoping that the brake zones will be a little bit more comfortable, and then, our car setup will, be good through the corners and stuff too. So, wishful thinking. So we'll see when we get on track tomorrow.
All right, we'll go to Jerry Jordan and then back there.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTires.net. So you've got a win under your belt. What is that? Your season.
I've got what under my
You've
belt?
got a win, right?
A win.
Oh, a win under your belt. So your season so far, obviously going pretty well. What is your forecast for some of the upcoming tracks like Richmond? Things. Where are you focusing at as you get ready for Indy and other stuff that you've got going on on the sidelines?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I never try to look too far out in front. So, I mean, I don't even know what race is after Richmond, honestly. These 2 weeks, I guess, is all I'm really looking at. And I've been looking forward to this one for a while just because, I want to get better here. And it's the first road course of the year, so it's different. It's fun. Kind of studying all week and stuff like that is enjoyable. But then, I don't know. I mean, I think just, we're tied for the point lead right now, so, we've been doing something right. We just like to continue the consistent runs, continue getting good stage points at every racetrack, and or at least, having a good shot at the end of the race too. So, it's just been a goal of mine this year is to try and do a better job throughout the regular season. And I know we're only 5 races in, but it's been going well so far. So just gotta keep it up.
Do you find yourself having a little bit more time to focus on the IndyCar, Indy 500, and things like that? Have you even thought about that yet?
I get asked the question every week, like, what should I be doing? I don't either. I don't either. I mean, I feel like to this point, I'm as prepared as I can be. I'm just to the point now where I need to get on track. So we get on track in a few weeks, and then, then I'll get to be able to think more about the Indy 500, but I also, I can't take focus off of this because the Cup Series, it's not like this stuff comes easy to me. It takes a lot of work. So I also, have to dedicate a lot of time to this if I want to be, doing my team, justice on Sundays as well. So I race a lot of stuff, and I prepare the same for all of it. So Indy's no different. I don't, I'm not racing a sprint car for another month, but I'm not worried about it right now either. So I'm worried about right now. So maybe that'll hurt me when it comes to Indy, but I don't think it will. I'm not changing my process.
Eric Sarita, Game Day Productions. Kyle, the driver's cancel has been in effect for a few years. What are your impressions of how it's evolved?
I can't hear. What? It's just the echo. I can't hear well.
Sorry. The driver's cancel has been in effect for a few years.
Okay.
What are your impressions of how it's evolved?
Yeah. No, good question. I think it's evolved for sure. I think even before the driver council was ever established, I was a part of stuff some version of the Drivers Council, like probably 9 or more years ago, and just to see where it's kind of come from since then has been promising. I feel like there's way more open communication, trust amongst everybody, all of that. I feel like we're moving forward together a little bit better than we used to. So I mean, it's always been good. Even from its inception, I feel like it's been decent, but I feel like now there's the trust level between everybody, which makes things a little bit nicer.
Is there one thing you'd change about how the sport operates?
No, I mean, I'm just a driver, so.
Go ahead.
Kyle Larson, Wyatt Watson with FrontStretch.com. How do you expect to tackle the new restart zone here at COTA, and your thoughts also going back to stage cautions here?
Yeah, I don't know. I think just got to kind of see how the truck race plays out a little bit, but I imagine, the restart zone being closer to the final corner. Cars will still, like when the leader takes off, cars will still be kind of stuck going around that corner. So there, I believe, should be less kind of, 7 wide into turn 1 and less dive bombs and crashes and just the, craziness, which is good, I think, because even fans last year were like, this is kind of dumb, right? Like, we look like amateurs out there. So I think it'll look a little bit more professional. I think you're still going to have dive bombs for sure, but maybe not from 4 rows back and then just shoving guys through the 2 rows in front of you. So I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a nice compliment to what drivers wanted, plus what everybody kind of needed as far as, just not crashing people.
Let's go to Dustin and then Chris Knight.
Dustin Lomino, JC. Kyle, you mentioned how you're tied for the points leading the regular season standings with Martin. When do you really begin to start looking at the regular season standings as the regular season winds down?
Daytona. I don't know if other people are the same way, but I think if you take your eyes off of it too much, then you can get a little careless and then you get further behind. So I've always paid attention to the points every week. And I would say most people probably do as well. So yeah, it's always on your mind, especially when there's playoff points to be given at the end of the regular season. I think that makes you more aware of where you're at in the standings, even with the one win that we have and knowing that we're locked in or whatever. But yeah, I mean, because it's like 15 points, I think, to win the regular season, then it drops 5. I mean, that's like a full race win. So yeah, it's important to have the best regular season that you can to benefit yourself through the playoffs. In 22 and 23, yes, we were pretty competitive, but we stumbled a lot in the regular season and didn't finish very high in the regular season points, and then the playoffs were difficult, where we were barely kind of squeaking by through some of the rounds, and ultimately at the Roval in 2022, I missed it by 3 points, where if I could have just finished a couple spots or a few spots ahead in regular season points, I would have made it through and been racing in the Final Four. But points are always on my mind. Maybe not necessarily like during the race, but afterwards.
Chris.
Chris Knight, catchruns.com. Kyle, did you have a chance to see the onboard camera from Bristol last week of yours that was floating around on social media this week? Did it feel like a real life video game when you're doing it? And would you ever want to participate in a race like that again?
Yes, I watched the little, 3.5 minute clip that I saw on Twitter, and honestly, it was crazier for my seat than even like Twitter or the onboard. Like when I watched the onboard, I was like, man, this doesn't look as wild as what it was out of my windshield. It just felt like when I left pit road, which I thought I was screwed, right? Like I was one of the first people to pit. I thought for sure there'd be a caution. I'm like, my race is over. So I'm kind of just like, I didn't even try hard coming to pit road. Didn't even try hard leaving. Went out there. I'm just like driving around people, and I was like, man, maybe this is, maybe we're going to get this whole cycle through. And it was just wild. Like, I feel like I was passing the same guy, like, every 5 laps. And it was nuts. I mean, I would be like, pass somebody in the bottom, then, like, turn right mid-corner, drive around that guy before exit. It was just weird. It was like the weird dreams that you would have. Like, it wasn't real life. So no, it was fun. And don't get me wrong. Like, I think a lot of people got me wrong last week, and I didn't probably like show how much fun I had. But I was always smiling in all my post-race media stuff. Like, I had a blast. Like, I had a great time. It was just, I think maybe I could have took more time, and explaining my comments was like, I hope I don't ever have to do this again, was more that, like, you couldn't really manage your stuff. Yes, I mean, you could manage it 3 to 7 more laps better, I guess, than some people, but it was just too short. They were too short of little stints, I guess, so if it was a little less extreme, you could kind of manage that throughout a little bit longer run, I would be all for that. So, and 2, I think I would love for it to like have, laid a little bit of rubber so you could kind of move around and still push and pay for it if you needed to, because how it was then was we were just like so stuck to the bottom. It was just, I hate to nitpick about it. It could have been a little bit better, but no, it was still fun. I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, it was. I've never been in a race like that. I've been in sprint car races like that, but they're like 25 lap races or 30 lap races. That was 500 laps of like rubber down racing where you're just blowing through your tires without even trying. So it was crazy.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thanks for the time and good luck this weekend.
Thanks.